Hello, this is study 31 from 100 classical studies. This is a study filled with different concepts. The first thing are even scales and also finger exercises. The first phrase is probably the archetype for the whole piece. D minor up to the fifth, and then with a rising scale at the end of the phrase. That really is an excellent technique to try and accent the first of every four semiquavers. It just keeps you dead in time. Line 3 is filled with problems here. Basically, it's a falling triad followed by another falling triad followed by another falling triad. That's quite tough. The second half of the first half, second section of the first half, is to do with the same thing as the first half, but up an octave. The second section of the piece is marked meno mosso, so less movement. And again, this is full of chromatic notes. It really is a minefield of technical problems, but it's well worth dealing with, well worth studying, well worth practicing. And then the recapitulation, the repeat of the first bit happens at the end, of course. Not quite the same as the first bit, it's a variation. Again, we get the rising fifth and the scale at the end of the phrase. And then in the coda is to do with falling D minor arpeggios and falling B flat major arpeggios. You might like to try this at crotchet equals 88 BPM, something like that. I'm not going to play it with that, but that's the kind of time. You can try it slower, no worries at all. Just work up to 88 maybe. I mean, you can crank the speed up even more if you so wish. But 88's about right, I think. So this is how it works. That is a great study to play. It's a good piece of music as well. It's by, of course, Kohler. I should have known that, shouldn't I? You know, the tendency is to start these studies and then just sort of go through them and not care about who wrote them. As a composer, I'd feel very bad about that if I knew that people were doing that. But nevertheless, that little rising pattern at the beginning, that's great. And you can speed that up and use it as little studies in it by itself. The great thing about that first phrase is that it rises up to an A, and the problem is that high A tends to split. That one, it's quite easy to split that, so just watch that, just lip it up at the end. And then, of course, the same thing. That's easy with the high A. Somehow it's less likely to split if you really sort of power it with the diaphragm. The third line. That is really tough. Work on it slowly. You can't hope to play that fast to begin with. About like this. First of all, you've got a diminished triad. Then you've got a D minor triad, or arpeggio. Then A7, D minor. There's the diminished, the E diminished again. And that is an E7 triad, arpeggio. And essentially an A major arpeggio with a G sharp as the leading note. You can hear that. And that happens twice. Second half. It's marked medio mosso, as I said previously. But nevertheless, that is a tough call. Show you what I mean. Just that bar there, that little bar there is really quite difficult to play. Work on that slowly to begin with. You've got G sharps to E, E's, top E's. So like syncopation, and then treated sequentially. Same thing. So you're jumping up to that high E and then D. In the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th line, there's a diminished arpeggio. That is tough. D sharp, F sharp, A, C, D sharp, F sharp, A, and C. Followed by an A major arpeggio, but treated differently. And with rising thirds. Very clever. And then followed by a B minor arpeggio. Well, and then E7. And then a rising A major arpeggio with a G sharp and B at the top, which is then treated as a minor. Well, not strictly, but it's like diminished again. It's like a decorated, diminished arpeggio. beautiful. And that, the Menno Mosso section, of course, is in D major. First part's in D minor, and then it shifts to the tonic major, which is D major, and then back to the home key of D minor at the end. Right at the last line, be careful. In fact, the last two lines. Great way to practice arpeggios, by the way, D minor arpeggio. That is you could transpose that to all keys, E minor, F minor, G minor. Then at the end, of course, which are essentially D minor, sorry, followed by B flat major. So it's and then the last two bars are difficult too. Sorry. Be careful, you've got a little A, G sharp, A. The G sharp is the neighbor note to the A's, and it's like a decoration. So that is a real laboratory test piece. It's really worth looking at. Study 31 in 100 classical studies by Kohler. His D minor study. Anyway, I hope you're able to work on that. That really will reap dividends in the end. You'll benefit greatly from playing that study. Okay. Bye.